Welcome in. Today is Wednesday. It is your dosage of Sports Idiot Nation. New episodes come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today, we have a friend of the show, host of Talk Toomey. Our buddy Josh Toomey is joining us.
And word on the street is he has a pretty big announcement, and it doesn't involve how terrible the Titans are.
Yeah, we already know that.
Right. No, yeah, definitely not as bad as our team, but yeah, man, my band Primer 55 not only reuniting, got a couple of tours out, but today it was announced that we are scheduled to play Welcome to Rockville, which is down at the Daytona 500 track. And the one cool thing about that is they say that I think from where the bands like congregate to the stage, you actually have to drive on the track. So I'm hoping that, if I'm in the golf cart, I'm going to be like, hey, let me drive this so I can at least say I drove Daytona 500 at one point.
That is dope. We're going to find out more about it. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. Welcome back, sinners. This is Season 2 of Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome into Sports Idiot Nation. It is a Wednesday. Remember, new episodes come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Follow us on all social media. Another guy that you have to follow if you are not already, Mr. T.I., of course, 34,000. You're obviously already following T.I., but friend of the show, fellow idiot, Josh Toomey from Talk Toomey. Follow him. Link is in the description. Thanks for hanging out, dude. You got some awesome stuff to tell us in the music world. We're stoked to have you, man. Real quick, what is your take on the Titans, and are you calling plays for them now?
I think I won the raffle, the Fan the Flame raffle. So yeah, I will be 4 beers deep, calling the plays this weekend.
Just run it up the gut.
Right. Just run it again.
Josh is like, it's first down. Just go ahead and punt it. We know it's coming.
Field position, guys. Field position game.
We know it's coming. Just go ahead and punt it.
I've sadly, in all honesty, I'm a massive Titans fan. I've been a Titans fan since they moved to Nashville. They moved to Nashville my senior year of high school. Like I've lived and breathed the Titans for the last 25, 28 years. And I'm to the point last year, I hate the fact that apathy is kind of setting in, because I used to sit on the edge of the couch and live and die by every play. And now it's like I turn the games on just to see how dumb we're going to be. And like second and 33. And I'm just like, yeah, they're going to get it. And boom, they got it. And, if the Titans were in second and 33, it would be third and 41. And then it would be fourth and 44. And we would have to punt, because it's like that. We would never, ever convert second and 33 at this point.
False start on the offense. It would be fourth and 53 now, the 5-yard penalty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
punting from the little doll houses,
Yeah, second and 32, and just gonna run a little run it back right up the middle. That's gonna work out. Titans, what in the world?
Yeah.
At least you'll know when to challenge a completed catch. At least you would know that much.
Well, I mean, that was funny because, Amani Hooker's right there, tapping his elbow. He's like, why are we not challenging this? And I even looked at it and I was like, oh, that's a catch. He got his elbow in. And then it just kind of went to the next play. And then, homeboy's up there just like, oh, you have to have an elbow and a foot. And I'm like, I don't know about that one, Brian Callahan.
Brian Callahan got it confused with Twister for a moment. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. That was the last time I was playing Twister.
How could the head coach not, I don't know, man. He seems like a nice person, but yeah.
He seems defeated, man, and not just his team. Not just his team. He seems just mentally defeated. He's
dead man walking at this point, man.
Yeah,
it's just
I think the only way he actually remains the rest of the season is if he beats Mike Vrabel. It'll be a sympathy, we'll just keep him. We'll plan on getting rid of him. But if the Patriots come in and dump 50 on us, they're going to A.J. Brown him, just like they did
right.
John Robinson after the Eagles destroyed us,
Yeah, no, that's just this whole season has been It's wild. I mean, he Cam up there calling us ass, and which he's not wrong, and I kind of love him for it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
far I love Cam Ward. He called the offense mid a couple of weeks ago. Now we're ass. I'm like, I'm 100% with you, Cam Ward. I'm with Cam Ward's dad. Like everyone is Cam Ward's dad. Every time I see a picture of him or a reaction by him, I'm like, he is 100% me watching my kids play sports.
Yeah, he is. Every time he watches a Titans game, I know in the back of his mind, he's like, why didn't the Giants get him or somebody else, even
Right?
just somewhere else, because I don't know, man. We don't have a good track record developing QBs. We got a good track record of bringing in free agents, but we don't have a good track record of developing QBs.
Keeping them, yeah. All right, let's try and stay in a good mood and shift to music, boys. Why don't we do that? Now that we're in October, tell us what's going on, man. I know you got some exciting news. You shared it with us before the show, so like we kind of know, but spill the beans. Let us know what's going on, podcast wise, music wise, everything, man.
Dude, honestly, man, this year has been absolutely wild. Like I've been on record kind of saying, like, back in January, I was telling my wife, I was like, 10 years of the podcast, let's wind it down and, go off and graze in the pasture. And then I interviewed David Ellefson from Megadeth, and I just kind of throw out, hey man, why don't you have your own podcast? Because anytime he says anything, it's on every metal news website. And I'm like, you might as well get those clicks for yourself. And he goes, yeah, I should do that. Let's make this happen. And I'm like, oh shit, can I cuss on this? I don't even remember.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I couldn't remember. I'm like, is this family friendly?
You can
Worms have ears.
You can totally George Carlin this thing if you want.
Right. But no, I went upstairs and I told my wife, I was like, I think I have a podcast with David Ellefson now. And we got it together. And honestly, man, he's been a fantastic podcast, co-host. I've had some co-hosts in the past. It's hard to, get schedules and everything else. And he's just like,
tell me about it.
Right. No, I mean, I get it, man. It's a tough game out there, but he's been very into the idea. It was his idea to bring on guests, and he's all about interviewing people and stuff, man. So
I'm just laughing. I'm just picturing this conversation. In your world, it's normal, right? I'm just picturing, like, say it's me going to talk to my wife. Hey, babe, I need to talk to you. Dave from Megadeth? We're gonna do a podcast together. It's just
what?
pretty.
It's
just wild. So I mean, it's so awesome for you.
So yeah, I kept like the interview recording. So I actually have it on video, like him, like me pitching the idea and him agreeing. And I'm like, you can probably see it on my face. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm doing this now. But man, it's honestly, it's been awesome. And even in the, famous words of Adam Carolla, what's the first step of making a successful podcast? It's be famous. And, obviously right out the gate, he's famous, and like we got a ton of, ton of guests and a ton of, heat and, people checking it out and stuff. And, it's funny, because I really have no ties to David outside of, I've interviewed him probably 5-6 times over the years, met him a couple times in person, and a little bit of here and there over the years. And people are so mad at me that I'm on this. They're like, why is this Joshua guy on this show? And I'm like, well, if it wasn't for me, there would be no podcast. So, you can, where to take it, man. But I think people are coming around. But so yeah. So on top of that, so the David Ellefson Show pops up. So I guess I'm not gonna stop podcasting. And then our guitar player Bobby Burns, who also played in Soulfly, created the band, Primer 55 back in the day. He was having some really bad health issues and some liver stuff and some fluid in the lungs. Like, he didn't know what was going on, and he actually reached out to me and basically said, if this certain woman reaches out to you and says that I've passed away, I want you to break the news. And I'm like, dude, don't put that on me. Like, I don't, that's not the metal news that I want to break. I don't want to break that my guitar player has died.
No, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, don't you put that evil on me. But yeah, so he kind of, he ended up moving to Texas, and I guess the liver doctors in Dallas are like, if you're having problems with your liver, go to Dallas. And he said he was having some really bad stomach pains, and he went to the doctor, and they were like, "Oh, you need to have surgery like right now, and this is something we can't do at this hospital." So they like shipped him to another hospital and like immediately put him under and did all kinds of stuff. And but he came out the other side. He said that he's a new man kind of thing. And I had seen over the years, new metal with like Corn, Deftones, and all the kind of underling bands like us and Spineshank and Head PE and all that stuff. Like over the years, like you kind of went in this lull of like, oh, you're in a new metal band, gross, to like, oh my God, you were in a new metal band. I loved new metal as a kid, that kind of thing. And obviously nostalgia is going to kill all of us at one point, so it'll be the death of all of us. And um we're kind of hitting that point where the kids that listen to us in middle school are now in their late 30s, early 40s, ready to go relive their youth. And a lot of the bands that Primer took out, that was opening for Primer, I saw them popping up on the Danny Wimmer presents festivals, Welcome to Rockville, which we'll talk about, and Louder Than Life and all this other stuff. And I had been kind of hitting Bobby up going, I think it's time, I think we should do something. And before the surgery, he was like, I can barely even move. And after the surgery, he kind of hit me up and he's like, all right, he's like, do you want to do a show? And I was like, all right. And so obviously through podcasting, I've met tons of musicians and stuff, and some, on some friendly basis with a lot of people. And the band Snot is also in kind of a similar situation where their singer passed away. They've reformed. They went away for a long time. And I'm friends with their guitar player, Mikey Doling, and I hit him up and I'm like, hey man, who's booking, your shows? Because they were getting a lot of the bigger festivals and stuff. And, he sent me the email, and I kind of cold emailed this guy thinking that he would either A, not know who we are and be like, get the hell out of here, or B, know exactly who we are and want to work with us. And thankfully it was the latter. I put, because it's 25 years of the debut record. And Primer is one of those bands. Primer 55 is one of those bands. It's like if there's a list of like 50 greatest new metal bands, they always come in around 42. So it's like so there's a fandom there that's kind of grown over the years. And even guests that I've had on my podcast that are a little bit younger, post-interview, pre-interview, would be like, man, I used to listen to Primer in middle school. And they're like bands that you would never assume that liked Primer. And so it's kind of cool to just kind of get everything back out there. But so I get the booking agent, and so one show turned into a weekend of shows, turned into this first, we're doing 7 shows in 8 days, starting on the October 9th. So we're doing October 9th through the 16th, just kind of a headline run, playing the first album in its entirety and some songs off the second record. And then we have basically the entire month of November, we're out with Smile Empty Soul, doing a co-headline, flip-flopping each night, who's going to headline, who's going to open the show or whatever. So, and that goes all the way out to like the Whiskey and Hollywood and back. And so it's that's wild. And then
dude,
and then the announcement today of Welcome to Rockville. And I look at I heard the other day, like I knew that they were going to announce us early. They were going to do like a soft launch of the festival and kind of announce a couple of bands. But it's just wild to see like that band name back on a list of like Seven Dust, All That Remains, Non-Point, Spine. I'm just like, literally was like, because I knew it was going to post today. I just didn't know what time, the day that we recorded when it posted. And I was like refreshing my phone like all day, like every kind of top of the hour. I was like, all right, maybe it's this hour. And then about noon, it finally popped up, and the comments have been so overwhelmingly positive. Like, holy shit, Primer 55 is back. I didn't know they were back. Like I can't wait. And it's been amazing to see. And I was driving home like almost with tears in my eyes because of just like how exciting and happy that I am for all of this stuff, because I never thought it would ever happen again. I never in a million years thought that this would ever happen. So that's crazy.
That's so cool, man. Like, this is the second story in the month that I've had of something like this. So I can't remember, Toomey, if I told you about my cousin was in a band called Unjust in the Bay Area. They were huge in the San Francisco Bay Area. in the 2000s. And
Nice.
my cousin and I have a podcast called How It's Related, and we talk music. And by the way, I did think of you. One of our latest episodes was on Collective Soul, and just like how they get so much shade, but yet how many hits they have, and all the songs where you're like, oh, I didn't know that was Collective Soul. I thought it was Better Than Ezra. I thought it was Goo Goo Dolls. I thought it was, so and so. But anyway, all that to say, he's doing the same thing, and they're gonna probably do a big show in the Bay Area. And he said that the response has been like, whoa, and he's like, he's like, I'm beside myself. I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a cool feeling, So I get it, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. It's like I was kind of telling you, I've been seeing your comments and stuff on the page, and people commenting, and everybody just seems overwhelmingly positive that you guys are back together and stoked. I do have a real quick question though. Have you played whiskey? Have you played whiskey before, or is this your first time?
That'll be the first time I played the whiskey. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's freaking, that's legendary, dude. That's just,
oh yeah, like man, that's that's the
spot.
Doors, that's Led Zeppelin, that's, and then us.
Yeah, that's, actually that is the list, top 3. Doors, Zeppelin, Primer 55.
Well, I mean, honestly, man, I'm excited to get that, because there's that famous photo that you take, like, because they do the marquee out front with everybody's name, and like every band that you've ever liked has taken that photo in front of the whiskey with their name on the marquee, and I'm like, I'm gonna get to do that. Like, it's just wild to just, like, I'm 46, and never in a million years would have thought that I would be doing this like in my 40s, like. I just did Louder Than Life media, and I've been doing media at Louder Than Life for 8-9 years now. And, hopefully next year I posted, I was like, hopefully this is the last year my wristband says media. Like, hopefully next year it says artist, because, obviously Danny Wimmer does all of these festivals, but it's just crazy to kind of, you're almost kind of going from, like, it would be like Paul Kuharski, suiting up for the Titans or something, like going from the media to in the game.
That is so funny you brought him up, because I just was talking to Adam about PK the other day. I was giving him the rundown about how, he's really a Patriots fan that's, here in Nashville and just can't stand the Titans. But speaking of PK, I don't know if I told you this. I've told Adam and Miles, but the last training camp, I took a photo with him and gave him some sunglasses, and he was like, first thing he said, he didn't skip a beat. He says, I'm not wearing any Titan shit. He's like, I started laughing, and he said, I'll give it to my kids though. I said, I appreciate it. I mean, I like PK's take. I think he's just like, hey man, I just cut through the bullshit. Everybody else throws softballs, but he just kind of,
no, man, honestly, dude, after this last game, he went at Callahan, he went at L'Jarius Sneed. I'm just like, I mean, he's not taking crap.
After this last game, I wanted to go against L'Jarius Sneed. My God, man, I'm so over that guy. I wish he'd send him back to Kansas City, but hey, hopefully he's not listening. But,
not a friend of the show.
So one thing I was going to say, can you, just for the listeners that aren't familiar with Primer, can you give a rundown of, like, when, I guess you back then, like as a group, like when did you know that, oh shit, hey, this is going to actually pop. We're going to actually do something, and we're going to not just be a local band or not just be a garage band. We're going to be a nationwide band. Like, I just wonder what that feeling's like, especially at a younger age. Like, what was that like, if you can take us back?
Yeah, I mean, my timeline with the band, I was not an original member of the band, but I remember my band out of Nashville. We toured out of Nashville, played 328, Lucy's Record Shop, and all the places in the 90s. We were, if you went to a metal show in the 90s, you probably saw us at some point. And I started that band when I was like 17. So I was like 17 to, by the time I was like 19, we sold out 328. It was like 1,200 people. Awesome. It was you just kind of like right out the gates playing big shows. And I had met Bobby Burns and Jason, the singer that's passed away. I went to a Primer 55 show in Louisville, and they like walked past me, just, and you could, like when somebody, the room change, the air in the room changes, and like I was just like, I don't know who those guys are, but like I want to be with that, and like, and I just kind of felt that um energy. And honestly, we had 12-volt Negative Earth had actually opened for Limp Bizkit at Exit In back in like '97.
Wow.
And Fred Durst had that air about him. You're like, oh, like you're like, all right, there's something here with this guy, kind of thing. And I felt it again with Primer, with Bobby. And so after the first record, they got rid of the bass player and the drummer, and it was just posted on like an early, or late '90s, early 2000s, like new metal website or whatever. And I got in touch with Bobby. I auditioned a few times. I even like helped audition drummers. And then, but they actually ended up going with somebody else. And then I left the band 12-volt Negative Earth, and I just kind of cold emailed Bobby again. And I was like, hey man, I'm not in a band anymore. If you know anybody looking for a bass player, let me know. And he wrote me back, and he goes, after this Primer 55 tour, I'm thinking about doing a new band. Why don't you come up here and, check out some songs, and then, we'll do this band when I get back. And I was like, all right. And it was kind of one of those deals where like, no matter what he played me, I was going to be in, because like he could have, he could have played me.
Yeah. Like, I'm in.
I'm like, that sounds great. But it was actually cool stuff. But we, so it was kind of like the whole, all right, after this last tour, when we get back in town, we'll start this new band. And then,
but that's not Primer 55 though. Then.
Right.
It was okay. I'm following.
So I'm gonna make a super local for TI over here. So I'm driving down Gallatin Road in Madison, delivering pizza at Domino's, and my phone rings, my like shitty cell phone from back in the day, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be in the band?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, I'm listening to the set list. You have to learn it because their bass player quit like right before the tour." So
wow.
I basically slide in to one of their in 2002. I got into the band that way. And then it was like a 6-week tour. I just like was blown away, like touring like that kind of, I mean, literally called me and said, learn the set, we leave in like 4 days,
kind of 8 minutes.
And you're like, because you and I are the same age. So what is this? You're 25 at this point? 24? What are you at this
23.
point? 23. Yeah. Wow. So,
yeah.
I mean, still though, God, man. I mean,
this is a baby.
Yeah. What an awesome thing to just stumble into at 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. And
I'm still working at Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah. I'm sure the same way though, man. I mean, at 23, you feel like, you've already lived your entire life or something too, almost.
Sure.
You've
yeah.
So it did feel like, it was a 6-year gap from the time that I really started a band to the Primer thing. And when you're that young, I mean, years are very long. I mean, 6 years now is like, it'll be 6 years like tomorrow. But so we do that whole thing. The Primer ends up breaking up after that tour. I do the other band with Bobby, and then actually I'm in the room one day, and Bobby gets an email or a phone call, and he goes, I think the band Soulfly wants me to play bass for him. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, that's one of my favorite bands. And I'm like, well, if you don't do it, I'm doing it, kind of deal. And I told him, I was like, go do it. And so he ended up joining Soulfly for a while. Then Primer came back in like 2007. I did some stuff back then with them, and then. But my kids were little at the time. My oldest son was about 2 or 3 at the time, and I remember we were out on tour, and I'm talking about the lull of new metal, and so we were playing like Jim's Bar and Grill for like 8 people, and I mean it was pretty rough. And I remember getting a call from my son's mom, and I can hear my son crying in the background, and she was freaking out because she didn't have somebody to watch him or something, and it was just like, what am I doing out here? Like I need to go home. I need to get off the road. And so, yeah, I left Primer in 2008, and then really I didn't do much after that. And then a couple of years ago got into doing some stuff around town with some local guys here, and then just kind of getting that bug again. And actually 12-volt Negative Earth reunited for the 30th anniversary of the Lucy's Record Shop show that they had a couple of years ago. And that was like, I remember my wife came out to the show, and she after I got off stage, she goes, I've never seen you smile like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, that's where you need to be, kind of thing. Like that's, that's where you're in your elements or something. So yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy last couple of years. And so all the way into Primer 55 kind of getting back together, it's just like this year went from I'm trying to stop to this is the busiest I've ever been.
Man, you're you're about to have me in tears over here talking about Lucy's and 328. And
I know, man.
You're probably going to bring up Pub of Love next, and yeah, I'm just I'm missing all those places, man. 328 was my home away from home, man. I think we've talked about that. We've probably been a lot of the same shows there. I was telling Adam about 328. I said it was just one of those spots back in the late 90s, that you just, if you were a band that just wasn't big enough yet, but were still huge, you were always going to be at 328. I mean, I saw the Foo Fighters there the first week they were out. I mean, as we said, I've seen 311 there many times. I mean, I've seen, no shame in my game. I've seen ICP there,
I was at that ICP show, man. Yeah, that was
Cottonmouth
crazy.
Kings, all those guys,
Cottonmouth Kings.
I'll never forget, man, that Cottonmouth Kings drummer rode out on a bike. He rode out on a bike up to his drum kit and then just like stayed on the bike, and somehow it fit in his drum kit and he just stayed on the bike, man. Like a little lowrider bike. It was awesome.
Yeah, I like those guys, man. I still remember the first time I ever heard those guys. I was at MTSU. I was in my dorm. I woke up in the middle of the night. My roommate and I would always keep the TV on. We left MTV on back when they were actually still showing videos. And I woke up and it was that Suburban Life, I think. It was in the Scream movie, I think, Scream soundtrack. And I remember waking up and I was like, I was rubbing my eyes. I was like, what is this? And I was so tired. I waited to the end and then I took a piece of paper and wrote down Cottonmouth Kings, and then I went to Blockbuster Music because it was still around, I think, at the time, or I went to Tower. I can't remember which one it was. And they had that little EP and I was like, all right, so there it is, but it's just funny. Those,
I bought the CD.
Yeah, those crowds back then were fun. They were fun shows. Everybody likes to clown on ICP and stuff, man, but the couple of ICP shows I went to were just a lot of fun, man. An undoubtedly a lot of fun, So
yeah, they played 328 and then they came back and played Municipal, and I think I saw both of those shows.
I did too. I did too. We used to call it I'm sure you did too, Miserable Auditorium.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't Municipal, it was Miserable.
There was a show a couple of years ago, I think we went to see Slayer, I think, played there, and it was just it still felt the same. But it was funny how small it was, because when I was a kid, it was just this place is massive, because it was you would go see Pantera or Metallica there, but then you would also go see the Circus there, it was just one of those places.
And then they have the gun and knife show there, and then they have the swap meet.
Yeah. We have the same thing. And then monster trucks, how they get all the dirt in there, how they get it out of there.
Dude, that gun and knife show, man, for the longest time on my podcast, I would always say, tell a buddy and bring a friend. It was that was my tagline for a while on the podcast. This guy, gun and knife show. Tell a buddy, bring a friend.
That jingle. Oh, I forgot about that jingle. Oh, man. Now you're making me think of the 1-800-BAR-10 jingle. 1-800-BAR-10. Get a whiskey cola and a long tong gin fizz or whatever. Oh God, man.
What's funny is I was in a band. We were, I guess, a punk band. It was kind of just more of a fun thing or whatever. But we actually covered that song. We actually covered the 1-800-BAR-10 song.
Bartender, what do you got? I got a
slow gin fizz.
Slow gin fizz. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey man, everybody remembers it. That was the point, right? So
right. No, right. Yeah. It was some people would look at us what are you doing? And then some people would just have a huge grin on their face, because they knew.
They knew. Yeah.
So here's my question: when is Primer going to play a show in Nashville that we can go to?
I don't know, man. I'm hoping soon. I'm assuming, Rockville is in Florida, and so we got to get to Florida. So I'm assuming, maybe a run down and back. I don't know. That's one place that obviously people keep commenting on. It's when you come into Nashville, when you come in here,
I mean, I know that's hard. You can't just be we're just going to play every city. I know that, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed, man, because that'd be a fun show to go to, man. Especially, just obviously support you, but still, man, just kind of relive some of that nostalgia. Because I was, I love like you. I know how much you appreciate Korn and love Korn. Like I was the same way, man. Korn. Yeah. First time I heard Blind, I was like, all right, I don't know what this is, but I'm in. It was just so different. And my buddies and I, we would listen to it right before every soccer game. We would pile in my car, my old 1984 Camry with stickers all over it.
Nice.
And 87 Escort.
We'd crank it up, and we would just headbang it. Other team would pull up and be like, "Oh God, what are we getting into?"
Right? Yeah. I had an '81 Honda Prelude, and it was stick shift. It had no
mine was
mirrors.
A 5-speed too. I liked it. We called it the 8.4 cam is what we called it, man.
Nice.
Actually,
I was in Nashville not too long ago, and it was funny, kind of driving through downtown with my wife, and it was a whole lot of that used to be, and that used to be, and that used to be, and
that used to be that used to be the world's largest adult bookstore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right there used to be that's where Deja Vu used to be, and now it's over here. Yeah. I mean, Nashville's still great, and I honestly would love to move back and everything else. But it's funny, just the charm of late '90s. The Nashville that T.I. and I grew up in is not what Nashville is today. And there was still that small. It was like a small big city, and you could kind of get in and out, and it still had its little nooks and crannies and things like that. So it's definitely still. I would still love to move back, but it's definitely not, what we grew up in.
More commercialized, yeah, with all the artists that own the bars and all that.
That's crazy.
'Cause I don't know. I'm only going off what you guys are saying, but when I visit, and I've been there 2 or 3 times in the last 2-3 years, and I see what you're saying. I can go there, see the commercialization of everything, have a great time. It's not that it sucks. It's still awesome. It's freaking Nashville, man. But you can tell, okay, I bet, 20 years ago, it was not boom, boom, boom like this. It's crazy and good, but not at this level where everyone's got their name on it and it's all this. And, you can kind of tell. So I see what you guys are saying for sure.
I mean, all those bars you're talking about. I mean, back in the day, that was like porn stores and stuff. I mean, there was
really
adult bookstore, and there was an adult theater down there and stuff like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, none of that's over there. It
was wild. I used to do. I mean, I know another place that you're very familiar with, Josh. You guys probably played there at some point. The Muse. I don't know. Did you guys ever play the Muse?
Yeah. I played the Muse a few times.
Yeah, we used to do
Domino's
when I was. Yes, it is. It is Domino's, but that's where Jelly Roll and I became really good friends, man. That's where we were always battling each other and judging the battles and stuff. But so there's many times that I've had late nights in the Muse, and it's funny when you go outside, it's you look up, all you see, giant sign, the world's largest adult bookstore. It's just. Yeah, I mean, obviously not anymore, but it's just funny, man. That late '90s Nashville was a little seedy, man, a little seedy.
Yep. Yeah, and you could it would always be we would we all had jobs that we made tips, and we had a good Saturday night. It's all right, let's go to the Titans game tomorrow. Drive down for $30-$40, get a couple of scalp tickets, and go in and have a good time. So I don't even know if you can do that anymore. I'm sure you're probably cheaper now, but
yeah. I mean,
somebody you to go.
I mean, somebody broke in my car and instead of stealing my tickets, left 2 more. So it's rough right now. It's rough right now.
Yeah. When you don't score any points in a game, that's kind of how it goes, guys. I hate to tell you that.
Yeah, I've already told my kid, you better watch your Halloween candy this year. It might be some Titans tickets in it.
Yeah, the razor blade, instead of razor blades, they've just put Titans tickets. Oh no, the horror. So all right, before we get out of here, tell us again, Josh, give us again the lowdown of everything that's starting, was it the 9th of October?
Yeah, we start October 9th in Lawrence, Nebraska or something like that. But we're doing some shows through the Midwest, 4 shows in Texas, Dallas, Austin, we're playing Houston. I actually threw in the group chat the other day. I was like, well, Houston's canceled, but I was like, I'm not going there now. But no, yeah, Houston, Austin, Dallas, we're just, you know, uh, and then we started November with Smile Empty Soul. We're doing Flint, Michigan, Cadillac, all the way out through the
Flint,
Midwest.
Michigan. Be careful.
Bring them.
Oh, I've played at that. It's funny, they have for everything that's in Flint, they have like one of it's called the Machine Shop. It's like world famous. It's like a club that's, it started in like the early 2000s, but like every band of our ilk will go there and sell it out, and it's crazy that how much they love their new metal there. But yeah, so yeah, I'll pretty much all through November we're doing a co-headline with Smile Empty Soul, and then yeah, like I said, man, the Welcome to Rockville got announced today, and that's just that's pinch me moment, man.
That's
seeing that go out today.
I know there's some bands that you can't announce on there. Some big names. We know, but the listeners don't get to know right
tuned.
Now.
You'll show on your social media then when the time is right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you follow Josh Toomey. Again, the podcast. What are the podcasts? Are you still doing the other one as well then?
Yeah. I still have Talk Toomey, which is my solo show where I have guests on that are not maybe suited for the David Ellefson Show, which is the other show. We do try to keep it either Megadeth related or thrash metal related. Just kind of keeping it kind of in that world. So and my musical tastes are all over the map, as we can tell by seeing Cottonmouth Kings and ICP, but also going to see Megadeth and Pantera and everything else back in the day. So
yeah,
so I've got the two podcasts, and I actually bought a metal website too. I bought a website that I'm getting redone right now, but it's called MetalNexus.net. So that's a nice little property that I bought along the way too. So again, trying to quit, and now I'm doing 30 other things.
More than ever. Yep. So yeah. All right.
Well, dude, thanks so much for hopping on, man. Like I said, I've really appreciate you brought me on and had me on your show, and I feel like you and I connected well and formed a bond, a friendship there over our fellow misery of the Titans. But and not only going back in time and figuring out that, hey, we were a lot of the same place, same time, same age, it's nice to connect like that. So it's awesome to have you, hop on part of our world and everything else. And good luck to you on the road.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that Lawrence, Nebraska gets a show before Nashville, but hey, man, I'm not booking those shows, so I'm not gonna argue there, No.
Hey, but I will say, man, I know we lost to the Texans this week, but at least we didn't lose to the Jaguars. You know what I'm saying?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah,
not yet. Right, not yet.
Don't get me started. All right. New episodes of Sports Idiot Nation come to you, remember, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Check us out on social media, of course, which means we will see you Friday. Thank you for watching this episode of Sports Idiot Nation. Remember, we are on all social media and on YouTube, and the podcast can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Remember, new episodes are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And remember, because you watch Sports Idiot Nation,
you would be the smartest idiot in the whole world.